Hello there, folks. Cranky old cuber here. I've just got a quick video today to talk about the way I magnetized my bigger cubes, meaning the 4x4 through 7x7 cubes. I've been meaning to put this up for a while, mostly for my own reference, but I thought other folks might want to know, the magnets I used and where I placed them and so on and so forth. So I've got some photographs during the process for a few of them, and then I have photographs of where I took the cubes apart so I could show you where the magnets went and everything. So I'll start off with the 4x4 cubes. I've done multiple Yushin blues and a Chi mini thunderclap this way. For the corner edge junction, I use 4x2 millimeter N35, and those are disc, little disc magnets. And for the edge to edge, so in the middle of the edges, I use 3x1.5 millimeter N50s. For my purposes, the outer layers are perfect, and the magnets between the edges are a bit light, so I could probably experiment with that. Like 3x2 millimeter N50s, or maybe even 4x1.5 millimeter N50s might have been better, but they're pretty good. And so I'm pretty happy with the 4x4s I've done, and I think Addie is happy with her mini thunderclap. So I've done a couple of Yushin 5x5s, and I've done a Chi Wushwang. I use the same magnets everywhere, 4x2 millimeter N35 magnets, again, those disc magnets. If I had to do it again, I might have gone with a 4x1.5 millimeter in the corners to make the outer layers a little bit less than the inner layers, but frankly, as far as I'm concerned, the Yushin 5x5 and the Chi Wushwang that I have that I magnetized are really perfect. I like them both. So moving on to 6x6, I've only magnetized one 6x6, and I did a Yushin red. And 6x6 is a little tough to put back together, so I was very careful when I took this guy apart to not take apart the core as much as I could. So I very carefully took all the pieces out and left the core as intact as I could. There's 3 junctions of pieces that you need to worry about in a 6x6. You have the corner edge junction, and you have the inner edge junction, and you have the inner edge outer edge junction. And between the corner and the edges, I put 4x2 millimeter N35 magnets. And on the inner junction, I did 4x1 millimeter N52 magnets. And then back on the inner to outer edges, I used 4x2 millimeter N35 magnets again. And the 6x6 is like the 4x4, where the inner edges are going to have 2 pairs of magnets instead of just 1 pair of magnet, which is why I used the lighter strength magnets, the 4x1s. Moving on to 7x7, I've only done a Chi Wuji, and it worked fine. 7x7s that come apart like this should work. I would imagine the MF7S probably would work like this. I don't know of any other 7x7s that I like enough that I would even want to magnetize other than the Yushin Huanglong. And that thing is, well, I kind of destroyed a couple of pieces trying to get it apart to try to magnetize it. And so I think the only way you can magnetize that guy is by drilling. And I don't feel like doing that. The Wuji worked great, but I had to use a bunch of different kinds of magnet. I actually had to use 3 different types of magnets on this. So between the corner and the outer edge, I used a 4x1 millimeter N52 magnet on the corner, and I used a 4x2 millimeter N35 magnet on the outer edge. And the reason is because the 4x2 won't fit in the corner. So I did the best I could with that. Then between the inner edge and the center edge, I used 4x2 millimeter N35 in the inner edge, and I used 3x2 millimeter N50s in the center edge. And again, the 3x2 N50s is because the 4x2s just wouldn't fit in that center edge piece. And then between the outer edge and the inner edge, I did 3x2 millimeter N50s in the outer edge and 4x2 millimeter N35s in the inner edge. And the reason for that is, of course, the same thing. The 4x2s would not fit in that spot on the outer edge. I would have used all of the same magnets like I did on the 5x5, and I suspect it would be great if I could do it that way, but they wouldn't fit, like I said. And so I did this to try to kind of match it up as best I could, and the Wuji is great. It works great. After lubing it and tensioning it, it's super good. And I had one other person who likes big cubes try it out and also said it was really good. So I'm super happy with it. So in the corners, it's possible that I could have fit a 4 by 1.5 millimeter in the corner, but it didn't look like it. And I'm still not convinced it would fit. It looked like it would barely fit and I wouldn't be able to place it the way I wanted to. So it would fit inside the corner, but it wouldn't be where I wanted it. So I used the 4x1s. I didn't have any 5x1 millimeter magnets, but that's another one I could have tried. Again, though, looking at the way the 4x1 millimeters fit, I think the 5x1 would be too big. So you can use this as a guide if you want to try to magnetize your own big cubes. I didn't find any of them terribly difficult. The 6x6 and the 7x7 both use 144 magnets, and so it takes a really long time to magnetize those guys. That was, I don't know, I think it took me several hours to do each one, plus, you know, disassembly and then reassembly. So there you go. So to recap, the 4x4s and the 5x5 cubes take 96 magnets. And then the 6x6 and the 7x7 both take 144 magnets. The reason the 4x4 and the 6x6 take the same number as the next bigger cube is because they have to double up magnets and the center edge pieces. So that's kind of the way that works. So hopefully this helps you. And I think it'll help me when I have to come back to do it again, because that's what I want it for. So thank you for watching, and we will catch you at the next video. Cheers.